Morning.
It's also hot for us here. Good morning, everybody. Morning.
My name is Roland.
And I'm Alexey.
All right, enough introductions. Let's talk about org topologies.
Yes. So we were here last year. Maybe some of you guys were here with us last year. Anybody remembers us? We were opening the conference. So this will be a different talk, don't worry. Right, but just to say, we are on this tour. Since last year, after this conference, we cannot stop touring. So we have tour dates on the backs of our shirts. I have to say, we both are failed musicians. So this is a way to overcompensate for that.
We couldn't do any better than this.
We want to be rock stars, but we are not. So this is a way we kind of...
You're being brutally honest here.
This is actually a very brutally honest talk. So org topologies, right? We spoke here last year, that's us and some of you in the front rows, and we talk about different organizational archetypes. So we are in structures. We're exploring how structures actually impose culture. We don't believe you can just install, enable Agile culture, although it would be nice if they just switch in your office. Now we're Agile. Now we're not Agile, Agile again. We believe structures, something that needs to be there, and culture follows structure. So we walked you last time through these archetypes, and we're going to do it again a little bit today. And then we've concluded with you last year that frameworks cannot be like a goal of an Agile transformation. Would you agree this year again that frameworks are nice because it's a lot of wisdom compiled in just one nice package of different practices and ceremonies and tools, but installing that framework cannot be a goal of an Agile transformation, right? Though frameworks can be helpful. So if you know where you are on your Agile journey, and our tool will help you to understand that, and if you know the direction and the target state, then you can maybe find a tool that can help you on the journey, right? But don't forget about the journey. Don't get distracted with all those frameworks and tools. Make sense? And basically, there's a video of our talk on the internet, in the Agile Prague YouTube channel, also in our channel. If you missed the last year's talk, please feel free to watch it after this one. And we've been working quite hard on actually trying to compare different frameworks and methods like Spotify, like team topologies, like less, safe, and really trying to map them. So we are in a mapping business, we can say. We developed a map, and now you can map everything with a map. A map is also a nice word in English. It's a noun, it's a verb.
And now we can say there's a map for that.
There's a map for that. Okay.
But if you weren't here last year, don't worry, we do a small recap of what org topology is about, because we're going to build up on what we've been talking about last year, because a year has passed, and we've got new insights, and we don't want to do the same talk over again. So we want to share the insights. And before we do that, this is the map. It's beautiful, isn't it? We're kind of proud that we found this map, because we discovered it as we were working with organizations. We started to see patterns in the way the teams were built. And we started to organize these teams and give them a name, like incomplete team or complete team or whatever. And then we noticed there were also other things, other organizational units that were departments or individuals. And we kind of were shuffling around, like puzzling, and we found out that there was a structure. And that structure is actually related to how adaptive each of these organizational archetypes is. So each box is an organizational archetype. And you can click these boxes together, or you can observe an organization and recognize these boxes, and then get an understanding of how this organization actually works. So what is this horizontal axis? It shows how good a team is at shipping an item. How complete are the skills in a team to get something from concept to cash.
Yeah.
Okay?
So if you've been working as a Scrum Master on improving definition of done of your teams, anybody try that? Fantastic.
Cool.
Then you all understand this axis. This is about improving your team's capabilities and making sure they are independent, enabled by other departments, other teams, and can do stuff they need to be working on.
Also known as the definition of done. You heard of that one
So
before.
this is the gap between the perfect definition of done and where you are. And the closer you are to the perfection of definition of done, the more to the right you can map yourself on the map.
Exactly. And there's also the vertical axis. And the vertical axis is actually an extension to the definition of done, if you want, a new dimension. And it has to do with the completeness of understanding the whole product. So this is the scope of work that the organizational unit is working on.
Yeah, so if this is a gap between the definition of done and where you are, the vertical axis is the gap between where you are and the definition of product, whatever customers understand as the product.
Now you might have heard when you're doing Scrum as a Scrum Master of Scrum as a perfection vision. You have to keep on iterating and improving to improve your Scrum. And maybe you'll never even end up having perfect Scrum. This map is similar. You can keep on improving your teams, your organizational units to try to move to C3, okay? Because that would be ultimate perfection. Just think about it. You've got teams that can do everything, and they can work on anything. You just give them a customer problem, and they will fix it and ship it.
And and if you have a new customer problem, meaning your priorities change, you don't need to transform any company, you don't need to launch any expensive change project, you just change the order of items on your overall backlog, and boom, the teams go in a different direction. Fantastic perfection vision, maybe a dream for many organizations who would like to become more adaptive. And adaptive is the synonym to agile, right? But agile in a broader space, agile in terms of business agility.
But I think this is key to understand that in all these transformation programs that people are in organizations, 9 times out of 10, or in many cases, we look at how we structure internal processes and try to improve that. We kind of want to go away from that point of view and really, look from outside in.
Yeah.
How adaptive is the whole.
So in this talk, we will guide you a little bit through the map for people who forgot what we talked about last year, and also bring new insights. And then we discuss actually solutions, how to actually move a specific team or a group of teams into a high-level archetype. And then there will also be some interactivity going on, right? So you see these chaotic pictures, we'll have to do something with them, so stay tuned.
We will need volunteers.
We will need volunteers. So let's look at the lower part of our map. What happens there? These are work units, maybe individuals with a very narrow skill set. We call them single skill individuals, or maybe functional groups, or maybe teams, but they are on this Y row of the map, and Y is from why do we need to do this with people? You feed in them tasks, right? And then they work on the tasks. And it's not that these people are lazy or stupid. It's how the system works, right? For example, you work in a company and you hire the first ever data scientist, right? And you decided not to put him in a feature team or a cross-functional team. You decided to put him separately in a corner so that he can serve multiple teams with her data science skills. And then, of course, what you would do with this person, and actually this is the box where this person sits, Y0, you will feed this person with tasks. Hey, could you please do this data scientific work for us, and could you please do that? So you will treat him as a resource, not able to learn anything else, and he'll get a queue of tasks he needs to do. If you hired a few more data scientists, well, you typically all keep them together because now they can talk about that whatever data scientists talk about.
You become Y1.
They sit together, and you make a functional group out of them, right? So that's how this actually works. Anybody recognizes some of the work units in your organizations being in this box?
So who thinks that they're in A2? Anyone? Yeah?
Above? Yeah.
Better? No? A3 maybe?
Yeah.
Perfect team? Yeah?
All right, so so let's talk about the next archetype, which is A2, A3, a bit higher on our map, and you see this magic wand up there. So when you cross this chasm or bridge from single functionality to cross functionality, and then even more to multi-learning, you can Google up this term. It's a fancy term where people actually learn different skills. Then you actually can still feed these cross-functional teams with tasks if you want to, but you don't have to. Because magical things happens, you can just, if you have a cross-functional team, right, you can now just come to them and give them a customer problem, right? Then maybe a feature request or a bunch of user stories. And you don't need to go and decide who's going to work on what. You can just wait as a manager, actively do nothing, and at the other side of a team, some feature in software or whatever you're working on will emerge. So some magic happens there. And by the way, this is like the lowest level where things like Scrum actually can be applied. You cannot apply Scrum to these low-level archetypes. You just make their life even more miserable because they will not be able to ship anything. But that's where our Agile magic actually happens. Things start to happen and people start to work on things.
You could try Scrum in the lower row, but it will be very, very dysfunctional because what are they going to ship, right?
Yeah, anybody recognizes your teams being somewhere A2, and these teams in A2 or A3, depending how full the definition of done is, they have a focus of features, right? So they really focus on some specific feature set. Maybe it's a search functionality, maybe it's mobile apps, right? So they have a broader understanding than tasks, but they have this focus and narrow ownership. Now, if we discuss with you what we've been all busy for the last 30 years since the Agile Manifesto has been signed, we can confirm that probably this is what we all have been doing. 90%. I've been busy for the last 10 years.
I made good money on it.
Yeah, and well, this is not wrong. This is not wrong to convert from, dysfunctional single-function units to teams which can actually get things to done. This is fantastic, and this is what we've been all learning at Agile Conference and from the other books. But this is just the part of it. So today we'd like to help you uncover the upper part of the map, because for most of us, it's still an untapped territory. You can say that's the place where you can just read about it in the books, but a lot of organizations are in this first Agile wave.
Yeah, we kind of get stuck there trying to improve our teams all the time, and our invitation to everybody using this map is try to think broader than just those teams working on features, and move up to these higher archetypes and create this beautiful space for collaboration between people.
That's not Arabic, actually. It's supposed to be English. It's just Emira doesn't load, but you understand. You understand what we mean by that.
It's Braille.
Yeah.
You have to come over here and feel it.
Yeah, looks like some Asian font.
So,
anyway,
yeah. The upper archetypes are very interesting to move towards, because it's so awesome to be there. Just imagine, I don't know if you are a leader of a company, but just imagine if you would be able to get closer to that perfection goal of just being able to switch direction and jump on a new initiative or fix an important problem, and you don't have to do this at any cost. You can just, tell your teams, this is my problem, and they will go work on it, and they will really ship something within 2 weeks or 4 weeks. That's just awesome. It also means that implications for managers is that they will need to do less micromanagement. So there will be space for doing sensible stuff instead of making zombies out of people. So, yeah.
I guess Roland has sold you all on the idea of going up and creating this holistic product development organization. Now, a little bit of a reality check, okay? This is not going to work in your organization. This is our message, unless you really change something. And maybe you saw this video we'd like to show to you and see actually if it will
make
work.
It a bit bigger still.
Can I have a microphone in case? Yeah. And maybe the sound will help.
You take the specifications from the customers and you bring them down to the software engineers.
Yes, that's right.
Well, then I just have to ask, why couldn't the customers just take them directly to the software people, huh?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because engineers are not good at dealing with customers.
So you physically take the specs from the customer?
Well, no, my secretary does that, or they're faxed.
So then you must physically bring them to the software people.
Well, no. Yeah, I mean, sometimes.
What would you say you do here?
Well, look, I already told you. I deal with the goddamn customers so the engineers don't have to. I have people skills. I am good at dealing with people. Can't you understand that? What the hell is wrong with you people?
All right.
All right, so it will not work in your organization because of some interesting dynamics that we would like to highlight. And see, the font is back again. Fantastic. So imagine you have a team which is say, not really a team, it's a group of people who receive some tasks, right? Or they work on some narrow component. Our favorite examples are like a data science group, right? Or maybe a payment platform team, right? They can actually be very much cross-functional as a platform team. They can even ship to down their platform code every once in a while, but they are getting tasks from somebody. Our recent example, and becomes our favorite example from last week, is a forgotten password team. And we have to ask this guy, like, are you not joking? No, he said, no, I really have forgotten password team in my company. Wow, this now becomes my favorite team. So those teams, like platforms team, a payment team, data science group, forgotten my password teams, they are fantastic teams, but they need somebody because they don't really understand probably the customer problem, the customer value, and also because these teams are so good at doing what they're good at, fixing passwords or implementing another payment mechanism. As an organization, we want them to keep doing what they are doing. We like them to keep busy and don't get distracted with business analysis, architecture, because otherwise they will have less time, doing what they're good at. So we keep them where they are, but they don't understand customer problems, requirements. So essentially, in this map, you need somebody else to give them shovel-ready requirements and specification. Where do you put those people who give them those maybe architectures, requirement specs? We put them up here, somewhere here, depending if there are many people, or here, depending if there are one person. So imagine you have one person who is business analyst for this team, and he talks to the customers, write down specs, and sends them down to these people down there. This becomes, and we have a stick for that, prepared, let's see if this works. Oh, fantastically, see how things match? This is a very steady relationship, because that person up there, that person can write great specs, but she needs developers to actually turn them the code. So they need each other. But also developers need that person because otherwise, they don't know what to work on. So this becomes a relationship of some sort, which is super sticky. So now if you come and you are tasked to move this team somewhere up the map, you cannot really do it because there will be something in a system which keeps that team where
if you do that, if you just focus on that group and move them up on the map, then somebody up there is going to lose their jobs, right? They're going to change their jobs, or at least you need to involve them too.
Right, and now maybe you will learn something new. Like, did you think the word spec comes from specification? There are two options. It might come from specification when specifications are done together. So when we're sitting together and understanding and specifying, then this is a specification. But there's another word spec comes from, right? This is a speculation. And people up there, they do a lot of speculation, not because they are smart or believe other people are stupid. No, it's just their job. So in the system, there's no blame. There's no good people, bad people. The system makes...
This is how we organize the system.
This is how we organize the
Yeah,
system.
and other groups get those speculations and they try to turn it into valuable product. Now, just to give another example of this kind of ecosystem, because you know they keep each other in balance.
This is an
these two
ecosystem.
We call this an ecosystem.
Yeah.
Let's take a group, and if you could draw another spot maybe there on the map.
I can copy-paste
Hey,
spots
there we go.
like
Let's
crazy.
imagine that there is this team. And the team is actually a feature team, cross-functional, and they're really good at what they do, and they really love working on the search functionality of our web shop. Wow. You know what they got? They got a
search team, right?
Search team.
Anybody in a search team? We don't mean...
There you go. Elastic search and improvements, new updates on the website, new filtering techniques, new kind of sorting orders.
Better
Brilliant.
search. Let's make search
Brilliant.
great again, you know?
Yeah. So these guys work on search, and if you look in their product backlog, anyway,
Search backlog.
search items.
Search backlog.
Search.
It's
Yes,
search item.
it's a search backlog. And they also have a search PO, isn't it? So there is a person there with the team that is tasked and paid to make shovel-ready specifications for them, search specifications. Now,
Right.
you can imagine that although this is not someone or a person outside in the system, this is a person in the team, that also creates stickiness. Because if you would want to move this small ecosystem within the box upward, it would mean that...
Oh no, go back. I need you
Come
for
here.
search,
Hey,
for search.
I am a product owner of search, so we're going to stay here because otherwise I don't have a team to feed. And well, that's what happens. So they become sticky. If there is a problem that is bigger than search, okay, you would have a good reason to start moving up because maybe you want to work on retention. Retention is more valuable for customers, and it will require changes in search. But if the search PO would pick up that retention work, he would have to go in all kinds of coordination meetings with the other POs of other teams who do other parts of the web shop.
And do you think like a search PO will give his team to work on payment if payments are the most important OKR in the company?
They won't know how to do it. No.
Because if I give my team to you to make some payments, I'm without the team, I'm not a search PO anymore, I'm failing my search OKRs, and my team actually haven't done any of payment stuff, so actually they cannot do. So it becomes really sticky how people and teams work. And our statement, our big statement, is that having these low-level archetypes, it will limit the ability of your org to work on what's really important. Because, I mean, I can work on search forever. There's always something to improve. There's always new algorithms. There are always performance security optimizations. But do we think a customer wants better search like always? Maybe there are periods of time where search doesn't work and customers really want better search, but when the search functions, probably customer ideas or the needs move to another dimension. So actually staying in one specific area just makes sure I'm not working on what's really
We call this local optimization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from this, you see, you typically have a lot of kind of things that you are familiar with, blocking cross-functional, cross-team dependencies, because maybe customer wants retention, which touches search and basket and payment, and now all these teams have some kind of dependency, long lead times, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, and there are, of course, some solutions around that, that practices that try to help you to manage that better, those dependencies between teams that actually have become the new silos.
A lot of practices that are out there in the industry, and we know you use them and we use them too, so we all on the same boat, right? But if you really try to understand what this practice is trying to do, typically these practices add more things on top of an existing organization. Another meeting, another ceremony, another artifact, then becomes, sometimes it helps, but doesn't really address the root causes.
It's a band-aid.
Is that people are over-specializing. So, maybe time to go to solutions, Roland. It's like
we still
20
have
minutes.
we still have 20 minutes to offer you some options. Okay?
But before we go into the solution space, right, the first thing you need to do before you really start solving those problems, if these are your problems, is to actually agree in your company, okay, this is our problem. We have these teams and they are stuck where they are, and this stickiness doesn't allow us to actually work on what's really important and stay relevant to our customers, right? So before making any change in your organization, doing some experiments, you need to agree, okay, this is the problem we really need to solve. There might be many different ways how you can create this awareness and consensus. We're going to show you one very specific tool that we like.
Which is actually a very obvious one.
So we do this, right?
Yeah?
Imagine we have 3 teams, right? Bunch of you guys, just one team, if you don't mind. Do you want to be in team or out of team? You're in a team.
Your search team.
Search team, if you
Excellent.
want it, okay? You guys are another team.
Forgotten password team, please.
Forgotten password team. And people here are
Data
the science
scientists.
team. Fantastic.
I love it.
So we need, and each team typically has a product owner, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so
Could the
from
product owner...
this team, can you be our product owner? Can we invite you to the stage?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Our product owner, search.
Guranda is our product owner search. Fantastic.
You just have been promoted.
And this is your backlog.
Oh, wow.
Has different stuff in it, right? Fantastic. Okay, we need a product owner from here. Would you mind?
Data scientist,
Or
please.
somebody?
One product owner.
Somebody from this
Anybody?
part of...
Yeah? Yeah, come on.
Not gonna
Don't be
hurt.
shy.
Thank you.
You'll be okay. You'll be okay.
And we need somebody from this part, from this team. Anybody from this group would like to be our product
Forgotten
owner?
password, PO.
Inga, Sabina.
Come on. Come on. Yay!
Not
Thank you.
gonna be- thank you.
These people are very brave. Thank you.
We have these 3 fantastic
Oh, maybe you go there. You go
team
there.
level product owners, and all of you have a backlog, a team level backlog. So everybody in this backlog, everybody has pieces of puzzle to solve, right? Your goal, ladies, for the next minute, come up with a single product backlog.
So we want you to consolidate
here.
the 3 separate backlogs of the 3 local teams and try to compile one list of work at the customer level, basically.
So now it's maybe the first time team level product owners trying to build a bigger picture. Because all of them, they were so much focused.
Yeah. Let's see if they manage. Sometimes they need help, which is not a problem, you know. Look at them solve the puzzle. They're great. Lightning speed. So Alexey here is the consultant explaining how to create a single product backlog.
Exactly.
Which is actually what we do at organizations. One big hand of applause for these brilliant product owners who just have learned how to work on a whole product view rather than on a local optimized single product, team product backlog. And maybe you, thank you very much, you can go and take your seats. Maybe you won't believe us, but it's actually not more difficult than this to do this in an organization for real.
So now we have one holistic backlog, okay? Sometimes it takes a few more minutes in a real organization to build one. It's not going to be hard. So what we can... It was not a joke, actually. What are you... Are you laughing at me or with me? Come on, let's talk about it.
Don't get aggressive. She's all right.
I'm good at communications.
Zoom in a little bit. Zoom in a little bit more. Yeah.
So this, how a real holistic backlog might look like. What do we have here, Roland?
We've got themes and items and ranking. Oh, wait a minute. That's interesting. So just imagine that you're going in, sit into a room with the product managers or product owners, and then you ask, So can you tell me, what is all the work, upcoming work for the coming months, maybe 3-4 months, and could we maybe put it in one spreadsheet, and there they go, they put it in one spreadsheet. But then a product backlog is an ordered list, remember? So we need to order it, and it's going to be difficult maybe to let them agree on what is most important because they have this local view of their own team. Now, what we can do then is find criteria. We just propose, like, find criteria that determine how important actually for the customer this one item would be. Can you give an example?
Yeah, an example would be like this item here. It's super important because it helps our company to enter a new market. And our top OKR for this quarter is actually explore this new opportunity. So all the items which are about serving this opportunity will get 1 instead of 0 in the opportunity column, right?
Yeah. So one thing you can do here, this is a trick that I give you, is to have a discussion about what is it exactly we're optimizing for as a company. Might be that we're optimizing for productizing our work so we can sell it, our product, later on to multiple customers.
You got the idea, right? You come up with the criteria. If they cannot come up with criteria, you can always appoint a chief product owner who will just do it by himself, but it needs to be, it's nice if it's a collaborative environment where people actually learn. And we've been doing this with our customer in Oslo 2 weeks ago, and it took them about 5 days. So it was fantastic, like 5 PO from the teams were sitting in one room for 5 days, and they were actually teaching each other, you know, different parts of the product because they never had exchange. Everybody was so siloed before. So this is an exercise to explore this product. Now what you can do with this great product backlog to raise this awareness, our organization is not really optimized to work on it because remember we still have forgotten password team and search team and data science team, right? You can do the following thing. You can map your existing teams to the items of your backlog, you know, and see how fit or unfit your organization is to the work that is now in your strategical product backlog. This will be a very painful exercise in most cases, unless you're lucky, right? And this is more or less a real map that we had with several of our clients. You will see this site. Some items can be done by just one team, like this item here just requires team 1. Fantastic. But in most other cases, an item of a backlog will require several teams to work on it. And this was also before you built a backlog. This is the nature of the work. Say customer or business stakeholder wants to improve some business metrics, some retention. Well, you need to do something in search, you need to do something in forgotten your password, you need to do something with data science. So you essentially have these dependencies between your teams. The teams might not even knew they had these dependencies because they will all get these backlogs already shuffled for them. Now you can see actually that there are items which require several teams to work on. And if those teams will stay where they are, typically, like let's take this item here. How typically a company works on an item which requires multiple teams to work on? Do they work on this item together as a team of teams? Typically not.
No, it's on the local product backlogs of the teams, and they will work on it asynchronously. Yeah,
team 1 will take this item in sprint 5 and work on it, and team 2 takes their portion of an item in a sprint 17, and team 3 actually doesn't want to work on this item because they have their own roadmap, whatever that is, and now somebody came in and said, now you have to work on this, motherfuckers, and they work on it, but from the stakeholder point of view, it took like 17 sprints. Otherwise, if they would work as one team, they can just do it in one sprint. So the idea is to go from sequential work, also known as waterfall.
Yeah,
This is a modern waterfall.
Now, vertically, it's also interesting to look at how teams are being overloaded with work. Yeah. There's a little bit of a squeeze here because team 1 is going to be awfully busy, more busy than the others. So what are the other teams going to do? Like, for instance, team 2. What are they going to do? Well, they're going to work on their team roadmap, aren't they?
So after the team 2 finishes their 2 items, they will naturally jump on item number, whatever, 5 or 6 or 10.
Low value.
They will not be working on a low value. And actually, this team is like underloaded, so they will very fast progress to very bottom of the backlog. Being locally very fast, you can measure the velocity, and they will be fantastic. But from the customer point of view, from the whole product point of view, it will be a slow organization. Okay.
So let's summarize this.
Yeah. So you can order all your upcoming work, and then you can see how fit is your organization to do this work. And this will be painful, and this must be painful, and that might lead your management team, leadership teams to a realization, okay, we need to do something with it. And we don't mean you need to do like a, I don't know, agile transformation. Maybe there are some steps on the way.
Now, holistic is on purpose spelled with a W, because we want you to think about the whole product.
Yeah, so what we actually want, the meta solution, is to create this open space for collaboration, like a market space, like a place in the company, like a meta space, a virtual space in the company where people from this team, and that team can work together, not sequentially, but, how you say that, together, jointly, and with one goal.
In sync.
In sync to actually go and complete this yellow item. Make sense? Now,
so the fences and walls around specialization is that separation of the separate teams in the lower archetypes.
And it doesn't mean we actually stop valuing your specialization. You're still the best search guys ever, right? Or whatever you got. So we still need your specialization. But now you can apply your specialization to work on something very important. And there will be moments where, oh, this item on top actually doesn't require any search skills.
Which is exactly good, because then you can learn new stuff that you've never done before.
You can always find a low-level item and say, oh, but I can do this very fast. But chief product owner, or whatever you call this person, will say, no,
Top of the backlog first.
Please learn to work on what's really important. And I'm sorry, it's not search, but we have a training program and budget, and you can pair actually with other developers. Across team pairing is also a very good idea to go about it. I switch, right?
Yep.
So let's talk about what you can do actually now with this item. Okay?
Do we have time? 7 minutes?
We can also go a little bit over to the break, I was told, so we're fine.
Okay.
And we're not asking your permission to do that. I'm sorry.
All right. So the people in the teams now, when we want this collaborative space, will need to understand those items on the whole product backlog.
Yeah. If only product managers understand these items, it already can trigger some change. But essentially, we want team members to understand these items. And this is something we typically call a multi-team product backlog refinement session, where multi-teams will refine the product backlog.
But we can imagine that bringing all these people of all the development teams in a room to start looking at this whole product backlog might be a bit scary. So
it will be a 50-people meeting, and people will hate you for organizing it.
Yeah.
Because
but it's so
people
much fun.
hate meetings and each other, and it's a nice opportunity to hate a person and a meeting as a batch.
So how can we solve this two-step approach? Could I please invite the product owners to come to the stage and bring one team member with you so that we have a little bit of expertise?
Or maybe 2 people.
Or maybe 2 people of your team.
Product owners, please pull 2 people from a team. 2 people from a team. 2 people from a team. So you need to bring 2 people from a team. Why 2 people? Why not just 1? Because if you bring 1 person, it will always be the team lead. And we're not breaking the silos. And you can actually rotate those. These are team representatives and product managers working together.
Yeah. So now we are in the section called overall refinement, and that is where we, in half an hour, briefly look at the top of the product backlog, which is at customer problem level. And I, as a chief product owner, just imagine I would be that, I will explain to you why we are doing this, what problems we are solving, and the idea that we have, and it's not really clear yet, you know.
And what you will typically do, you will split this large backlog into some kind of pieces.
Yeah.
You want different teams or people to study.
You can study this problem.
You can study this problem, okay?
And You guys can study this problem. Here you go.
And after you've done a little splitting and studying, and it's very nice that you simulate studying, amazing actorship skills. Thank you so much. So imagine you guys, and it's a multi-team meeting,
Yeah.
but it's a first step to the multi-meeting.
Pretty small.
It's actually a team of, it's a group of whatever, 8, 9 people. Have you done effective 8, 9 people meetings in your life?
Yes, you have.
That's not a
Yeah,
scary
yeah.
scale meeting.
No.
It's a meeting with the product owners who actually now being upgraded to product managers because they work the entire product. And developers who actually now being coders who now being upgraded to product developers because they look at the product. So this was step number 1. Thank you. You can take your seats back.
Again. Thank you for working so hard with us. Thank you, thank you. Give them a hand of applause.
And there is step number 2. So group of team representatives. So
Hold on.
attention,
Hold on.
please. Yes, we need your attention for another
5 minutes.
5 to 10 minutes, and then there'll be fantastic coffee and break and open space. And 2 days of talks, less boring than ours. Yes? So what happened? Small team of mixed people from different teams analyzed the overall backlog, which we actually combined first. Now we know there's these 3 problems need to be studied. Now, if we give this problem to this team, you'll be shocked because you are search experts and it's not a maybe search item or not only search item. And again, even if you can do this item yourselves, we're going back to square one where only one team can work on it. And maybe even the estimate is 49 story points, as you can see here on the mirror. Maybe eventually it becomes 85 story points and you will have other teams to help you. But they cannot help you because they learned this item and this item.
So what we do, actually, yeah, is we invite, can we have the product owner of this team? And can you bring, again, 2 members of your team? And then I would also like 2 members, no product owner, 2 members of this team. And I would like to have 2 members of this team too. Anyone? 2 members? Doesn't matter who. So now we have a mixed group of people. We're going to refine the problems.
It's 1 minute. It's not a worry.
It's just to show.
It's your chance to be on the stage and look at beautiful faces.
Remember, these
and
people...
please come here.
These people belong to different teams, but they work on the whole problem as one group to try to understand the problem. So there's a product...
We ask you to look together at this item, like pretending you are busy.
We're just simulating this to not create full chaos, but there would be a second group of mixed people standing here, yeah?
Your item is there. This is your item, your item. Focus, focus! Focus, focus!
See, that's why we didn't bring all the teams on stage. And then there will be the third group over here, working on the third problem, also mixed from all teams.
Exactly. So exactly how Roland is explaining.
And the product owners will be joining this team. Where's the product owner? Could you maybe go and have a look over there because they want to more know about search? Yeah?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Or not really, right?
So this could happen. And oh, by the way, there's a legal problem that needs to be fixed this sprint. So can we ask the legal subject matter expert to also join and help solving the problem so that we create legally correct software by design?
Just so that you see whole picture, right? The same stuff happens in other rooms or in Zoom,
right?
With these items, this item, but every item is being worked with a mixed group.
And now?
With the product owner and with some kind of a subject matter expert and maybe a user.
Ooh,
you can invite customers to these meetings. Woo!
Because we speak customer language.
Yeah.
Now, everybody will return eventually after they've taught, each station explains what they've discovered to each other, to all the others, briefly, and then everybody returns to their own team.
Please.
Please go. And now, maybe you could
Thank you.
Do we take the sticky notes? No, we don't. Okay, we don't do the sticky notes.
Please go back to your teams where you belong.
And now,
if we actually, thank you, you were fantastic.
It's incredible. I've
Without
never had
you,
such
this would have worked.
Yeah.
What we have just achieved, right? I mean, we have 3 teams. Who of this team has been refining this item now? Could you raise your hands, people who were at the stage?
Is there anybody who knows about this problem?
So 3 people in this team know red item. Who in this team been here also 3
Yeah,
people,
also 3.
and that team also. So
Wow.
in every team now there's a knowledge about this item, and
how
now
about
they
the
can
loop?
work on it together if they want, right? Or maybe this team starts as a leading team just to check, build architecture, and then you can invite those teams.
Hey.
But for them, it will not be, what is this work? Because they know this work. We've created conditions for collaboration, and the same goes for
The
this
same
item.
goes for blue, and the same goes for the yellow
And now
problem.
if we restore the backlog, right?
So there is knowledge in every team about the problem, and they will know, how to coordinate, how to collaborate together, because we're going to work after sprint planning in sync on the same problem, sharing the same sprint goals, working on the same product backlog that we've refined together. And the knowledge is in every team.
So we've created this condition for cross-team work. If these teams are still narrowly specializing, sometimes called component teams, it will be harder for them to collaborate. If these teams are more cross-component teams, and maybe you shuffle teams, they will be actually able to work together in one sprint on one item, and this item will be done in one sprint, and the customer will be happy you get feedback. You see where it's going? Another interesting benefit you get is that after they've done working on these 2 top items, for example, you can have a holistic sprint review. Not a meeting where a product owner sits with his teams and they just close a sprint in Jira and open another sprint in Jira. Not that sprint review meeting.
No. This is a sprint review meeting where 1, 2, 3 teams at the cost of X euros per sprint have been collaborating together and will show some value that is relevant to the customer. If I were a stakeholder and I have spent my money on these teams, it would become valuable for me to spend that half an hour to go and listen and see the value that they bring. Because I know before I didn't go there, it was just one team showing a screen with some code.
If you want the CDO, CIO, Roland to come to your sprint reviews, you need to have multiple sprint reviews. Then he can just see how his 50,000 euros investments were spent over the last several sprints.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Make sense? Are we making sense?
Good.
We are making sense. Now we want you to make sense. Like single product backlog, multi-team refinement are just some practices in our baggage. Please read the other ones.
So these are practices to really create
Collective code ownership, cross-team pairing and mob programming, cross-team continuous integration and continuous delivery across the entire code base. Team-level product owners become actually product-level managers. Team-level Scrum Masters promoted to work with multiple teams. Sometimes we Scrum Masters get the team stuck because we are Scrum Mastering this team to death. And replace team leads with team representatives at meetings. We still have a few minutes.
This will bring you to that open space for collaboration. And if it's too risky to do a big change,
You can pick practices.
you can pick practices to try it out.
So the invitation for the next 2 minutes is to turn to somebody who you're not afraid to turn to, sitting next to you.
Or behind you.
And you are not afraid, I can see that. Fantastic. And have a discussion which of these practices would be cool to try in your company, or maybe you tried already and you can share a bit of, oh, actually this works or this doesn't work.
Or maybe you want to think about the implications, or maybe you want to explain if you
2
don't know.
minutes, we are to hear some noise, you guys talk what is actually applicable to help you move your company to this high level archetype.